Hey there, and welcome to installment 2 of our Chronicles of Writing a Banjo Song. Now, in the first edition, I guess, I showed you this theme I'd come up with. Etc. You can look that up if you're interested. And then I played through it, and up to a point where I got stuck. I had gone through the main theme, then switched to a couple major chords. So and I'm pretty happy with what I have so far. But then I kind of hit a wall. And so I was home thinking about that and wondering, why am I stuck with this? You know, I know enough music theory I can modulate into lots of different keys and go a lot of different directions with this. I've got enough in my bag of tricks. I can throw some stuff at it and come up with something decent musically, I suppose. But wasn't feeling it. Just didn't seem right. And I was kind of thinking about that, and it dawned on me. I didn't know where to go with this because I didn't know what I wanted to say. That simple. That kind of makes sense. So I kind of did some thinking about that. And you know, when you're first learning an instrument, there's a lot of things to learn. There's a lot to get together. Trying to get your hands to obey you. I know all my students experience this, of trying to just get your hands to do what you need them to do. There's a lot to learn in the noggin about music theory, how music works. And so there's a lot to get together. Music's not easy. I've given up trying to make it easy for people. Music is wonderful, but it's not necessarily easy, but it's worth the effort. But at some point in your growth as a musician, you take what you've learned, and hopefully you have enough things put together, you can start creating art with it. And then at some point you face the decision, you have to cross a bridge and decide what kind of musician you are, what it is you're going to be. There's a lot of different directions you can go. And it's not that you have to put yourself into a box and just do one thing, but you do need to find a home base, a home center for yourself. Are you going to be a singer-songwriter and devote most of your energies and attention to writing songs and performing them? Do you want to be a member of a band and play mandolin or banjo? Well, who doesn't want to play banjo? Or banjo or drums or bass or something in a band and be part of a group. That's great fun too. Are you going to be a solo musician? Or you could stay at home and write all these great songs and no one ever hears them until you pass away, and they go through your stuff and find all these great songs you've written and thought, oh, if only she'd have published these, she could have had a great career. You know, there's stories about that. So I kind of was doing some soul searching myself, and I've come to the conclusion that what I really am, more than an instrumentalist or anything else, is a storyteller. I try to tell stories, generally stories about nature, but also stories about people and dogs and everything. I try to tell stories with my music, instrumentally. Instrumental music can tell a story just as poignant as a song with words. So thinking about this thing I'm working on, Mike Atkinson had commented about that reminded him of a slow-moving Appalachian River. And Pat Casey had seconded that idea. So I'm kind of thinking about it, and I thought, oh, there's been so much great music written about rivers. I don't need to do that. But then I kind of, and there has been, John Hartford certainly comes to mind as someone who's written a lot of great songs about the Mississippi River. And but I kind of thought there's not been that much instrumental music written about it. And I kind of thought, well, imagine if I was a river, or if you were a river. What would your life be like if you were a river? Rivers change. Every mile that they go, they're different than the previous mile. They can start off as a spring or little creek way in Appalachia, way in the highlands. And as they meander down the mountains, they get wider and bigger and support more life until finally they empty out into a bigger river, which empties out into a bigger river. So it's a very dynamic life is a river. It's constantly changing. So I started thinking about that. I kind of started getting excited about the possibilities of trying to depict that musically. So I think that's the direction I'm going to go with this. And what this may be is not just a single theme or idea, because rivers are constantly changing. Maybe this is a suite of 3 or 4 different themes, or 3 or 4 different feels or sounds that go together to try to tell this story. So I think that's the direction I'm going to go. So thanks, Mike and Pat, for helping me out with that. Next video, there'll be more playing, less talking. Sorry for all the blah, 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 blah. But sometimes you got to do it. So a little more music next time, and I will see you guys later.